Welcome back to the channel. I have a cool video for you today, and I say it all the time, but I'm here again saying it. We've got a new series that we're going to start doing. One of the things that we have found when kind of scheduling these matches is that a lot of the time, if you're playing a new deck or something that you're not certain of what the power level is like, we kind of have to guess about what it's going to have a quote unquote like interesting matchup into. And that's not actually like the best testing. And for at least Jared and I, like we don't get to play that much Highlander. So anytime we are going to get a chance to play, I think we're kind of aspiring to test as best as possible. So we're going to start this series. I have tentatively titled it First Drafts. Maybe we'll change the name if that one really doesn't stick. But what this is one person, in this case, this week, it's going to be me, is going to bring a deck, and then the person they're playing against is going to randomly select one deck from our power rankings. So I'll link the power rankings in a card above as well if you haven't seen that video. So for our summer power rankings, we have top 8 decks, and I'm going to play against 1 or 2, depending on how long the matches go, of those high power level decks. And we're going to post the games win, lose, or draw. So you might well watch a new brew kind of get stomped, and we'll maybe draw some conclusions about whether it's even worth working on at all. But without further ado, let me show you what I have got for this week. So you've actually seen this deck before on the channel, but it definitely still meets this the criteria of being like a first draft new brew. This is blue-white with a red splash heroic. I really love heroic, especially blue-white heroic. I played it all the way back in Theros Constructed, and I've played it blue-white heroic specifically. I've played in Pioneer as well. Trent and I have actually worked on the deck together, and I think we're finally at a point now where I think there are enough cards to try and port this into Highlander. I've tried a bunch of times over the years, and historically, you've run into issues with either not having enough heroic creatures, or the enablers weren't strong enough. And so I've ultimately come down on this list. So I'm playing most of the creatures that have actual heroic in the blue, white, and red colors. You've also got some nice stuff now in the kind of enchantment shell. And I think there are 2 ways that you can build heroic. One of them is with can-tripping combat tricks, sorry. Like Defiant Strike is kind of like the classic heroic card, +1/+0 draw card for 1 white. And the idea is like you can churn through your deck while still triggering heroic, growing your creatures. But the other way that I found to play the deck that is pretty potent is to kind of hybridize it with enchantments and playing almost like we don't have hexproof creatures, but like a Boggle style strategy. And part of the reason this is so powerful is this allows you to introduce other card draw engines. In particular, like the curiosity effects are really powerful in this shell. They're already buffing up the creature, which is one of the issues with playing these cards, is that you don't actually necessarily typically present a super fast clock. And if you connect once with a curiosity effect, it's replacing itself. But in a deck that's looking to actively like protect its creatures and go bigger, this is actually a way to accrue card advantage and rebuild if you do end up getting your creature removed. So you're not quite as all in that regard, which is pretty powerful. So this deck really leans into the enchantment side. You'll notice I'm really not playing any of the pump spells that can trip, anything along those lines. I've got a couple of things that work as protection spells, like Loran's Escape, but other than that, I'm really not doing a whole lot of that, and I'm mostly relying on the power of the enchantments. Because I'm using enchantments, I get to do some other things, like playing SRAM, Senior Artificer, as a way to generate card advantage. You also have Light Paws in this deck, who can go really, really wild if left unchecked. In particular, you can do some nice things with this where we have some haste enablers in the deck, like Cartouche of Zeal. So like this can come down, you cast a one mana enchantment, or maybe you have 2 mana, you cast a 2 mana enchantment, and then you can go get a haste enabler and be attacking already with a relatively large creature. And the other thing that makes this one so good is that like your ethereal armor effects, so ethereal armor, all that glitters, and the strength of the harvest, those are really premium in this deck. And so having more ways that you can kind of on demand pull those into play, obviously very good. Tying the room together, you've got some small amount of respect for combo. Like we have a couple of counter spells, really not very many. You have a couple of removal spells, again, really not very many, like Chain to the Rocks. This is actually, I think, a good Path to Exile deck because you don't care about the land. You're just planning to have them be dead before that matters. Swords to Plowshares. but we're really, really light on interaction. We're mostly looking to play a kind of protect the queen style where you're going to keep 1 or 2 creatures alive and maybe remove things out of the way, but maybe just you want to have the most powerful creature on the board, or it's going to be evasive. So with all that in mind, I'm recording this before we play the games because I think it's better that I don't have kind of previous or advanced information about what matchups I did end up playing. The things that I think this deck is probably pretty good against are the fair decks. I think that actually you do a decent job of combating the removal, and you put a lot of pressure on the fair decks to have a removal spell really right away. And if they don't, I think it can get games can get away from those decks pretty quickly. So I'm feeling like those matchups might be decent. Against combo, you are definitely in much worse shape, and I think if I do end up playing against one of those decks, it'll be interesting to see whether or not we need to maybe add more respect for those in this deck. Like, one thing that I'm doing is, like, I'm playing, like, Slip Out the back, and this could be Spell Pierce instead, which would be slightly worse at protecting creatures, but slightly better as being a kind of, like, card for combo as well. Those are some changes we could make if the combo matchups were really, truly astonishingly bad. I will say, though, one thing that I think the deck kind of has going for it is, yes, you are not interacting a ton, but you're also kind of saying to the combo deck, okay, you probably are going to be able to Goldfish, but you better Goldfish turn 3 or 4, or else I'm going to Goldfish turn 3 or 4. And, well, turn 3 is asking a lot of this deck, but turn 4 is pretty doable, especially given how little interaction typically appears out of the combo decks. So it'll be interesting to see. My guess is that I'm mildly favored into fair decks, probably unfavored into unfair decks, but one of the things that this deck is doing is that it is just fast, and that can often fix up a lot of matchups. So yeah, really excited to try it out. I hope you enjoy it. Really quickly before I get in, the points are Triple Mox, True Name Nemesis, so just in case you were wondering. But yeah, so this is Blue-White Heroic, and this is our first attempt at first drafts.
All right, so this is going to be my randomly generated number for playing against Liam here. I'm going to pull over the random number generator here. So I got 1 to 8, and then I'll generate the number, and then we'll take a look and see which deck I'm going to play against Liam's, brew, as it were. Okay, 5. So that's Boros Taxes. So I'll have to find a Boros Taxes list. All right, so for the first match, I rolled Boros Death and Taxes. This deck is pretty straightforward. You're playing the best white and red creature threats, which is basically a suite of a bunch of 3-drops. To accommodate those 3-drops, we are playing a bunch of fast mana, so we're going full tilt on Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, Mox Diamond, Chrome Mox, and we're even playing Remote Farm and Sandstone Needle, Gemstone Caverns. Wow. Shout out to the Canlander database, which we'll toss a link to in the description. It's a Moxfield account that is upkept by some of the Canadian Highlander community members, and it's a really great resource if you're looking for sort of like base-ish versions of lists. Like, obviously, these things change a lot of the time, and like your experience with Boros Death and Taxes might be a little different than theirs, but generally speaking, I find the lists on there to be pretty valuable as a starting point, and sometimes I just pull them right from the database and fire them off in an LJTMTG video. So big shout out to them, and that's Boros Death and Taxes. I'm just gonna play creatures and try to get in.
All right, so I won the die roll. Very exciting. This deck definitely wants to play first. We are mulliganing in the dark. I think Trent, technically knows what I'm playing, but he is mulliganing, assuming he does not. This hand does not have a creature, so it's a pretty easy mulligan. The one issue, and you're seeing it here, this deck can run into is I don't think it mulligans especially well. You have to play a bit of a lower land count, because especially where this deck draws so many cards with curiosity effects and the like, if you play a lot of lands, like you're just gonna flood, and you're an aggro deck, you really can't afford to flood. So I have noticed that I go to 6 a lot in my initial mulligans, but this is fine. I probably might even skip playing turn 1 Optimistic Scavenger and just go turn 1 Surveil. This is definitely a keep. just because I don't actually have a turn 2 play as is, and I think, prefer to be able to go Scavenger plus play an enchantment, or Scavenger plus be able to protect it, rather than on the next turn playing my land and planning to surveil.
So Liam doesn't know what I'm on, but I know what Liam is on because we were talking about it previously. So I'm gonna mulligan with that in mind, or sorry, I'm gonna mulligan not with Liam's deck in mind. So, like, for example, this hand is something I would always keep, so I'm just gonna keep it. But it's possible I might mulligan it based on knowing what Liam's on. But I think I'm just, I mean, I'm probably keeping this anyways. But I wouldn't consider Liam's deck choice if it was to be a little closer, at least not for game one.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's a bit of a weird play. Like, this is slightly worse into, say, like a Thoughtseize or something.
He'll find that out on his own.
Hello.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry, yeah, I forgot that I was deafened.
I was just saying Liam isn't undeafened yet, but I'm sure he'll find that out on his own.
Elegant Parlor. Okay, so probably Boros?
Yeah, I think if I don't know this matchup, I'm supposed to keep this on top.
Yeah, I guess you're still operating in the blind technically.
Yeah, it's possible I'm supposed to bin it, but especially since you played a Misty, I think if I'm in the dark, I actually am assuming that you're playing some sort of you know, Jeskai blue white variant, and I'm now I'm convinced.
Yeah, now you're all the way sold.
Yeah. Like, this is just Jeskai.
And then I play this optimistic scavenger.
And I'm like,
yeah,
that guy with a twist. Like,
yeah. And then I put optimistic scavenger on the stack, and it gets very confusing very quickly.
I think I'm just gonna play this Ethersworn Canonist.
Yeah, fair enough. Is that the one you kept on top?
No, I kept a 3-drop on top when, like, I think, like, if you know this matchup, you really are just looking for removal. Like, I think your creatures are probably just like, they basically don't matter unless they're like really specific creatures.
Yeah.
From the Boros side, but
huh.
Sacred Foundry. Oh, I see. You're only playing the archive.
I know, and I think that's actually something that I want to look for, because like that's another spot where I would have liked to have the second Surveil land. My concern with putting more Surveil lands in this deck is
you really don't want to naturally draw them.
Yeah, exactly. They're so awkward to naturally draw that, like, I think you kind of can't. Okay, this Ethersworn Canada is actually being kind of funny.
Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable here.
Yeah, I would say so. It can't block, however.
It's okay. I wasn't blocking anyways.
No, I figured not. Yeah. My God. Yeah, I would have played this Canonist. It's funny, you know, like, I think people look at that card and think it's a combo card, but decks are so efficient now that, like, the number of decks that are hoping to double spell at some point is just, like, quite high now, I think.
Yeah, like, you're like, even in older Magic, it was like, oh, you get the double spell, and that's like really, really good. But
yeah, now we're all just better at double spelling, though.
Now we're all better at double spelling because all of our cards are more efficient.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely playing this Plains, and I guess I'm not blocking, so I'm attacking.
Fair enough.
And then I think I'm just gonna play this Ragavan.
Oh, interesting. Which is also presumably not attacking. Okay, so this play is kind of weird, but you and I both know that this card is bugged. So normally I would hold this to be a protection spell, but unfortunately currently in this deck it is literally just instant speed pacifism.
I'm surprised you kept it in. Maybe you're supposed to...
I think I am supposed to cut it technically. I don't know. I kind of wanted to play the list as is, but you're right. Like, there are other cards I could have played.
Okay, I think I have to go for this and just hope you don't have anything.
Oh, unfortunate. I got punished here for not playing a spell before combat. I I didn't think about exactly a Gonjo, to be completely honest with you. I thought no red mana damage based removal doesn't matter. Either it's dying
Yeah,
or it's not dying, but I was
I Ganjo is
incorrect.
definitely not a
Yeah.
not the most common here. Okay, this is gonna be a good one for me.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably dead here. And this is the awkward thing. Like I would not have dog umbred if it had the text it's supposed to. Like I would have held it as a protection spell, but
Yeah, but like you just can't.
I have to play my cards as they functionally work.
Yeah,
And now I'm in.
and since I've got you under Canonist, you have to dog Umber on your end step.
Well, I would have just put, but I would have put it on the scavenger.
Oh yes, no, I just mean like because of the bug and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
from Canonist, you just like are forced to.
Yeah, I'm forced to play it
Um,
this way. Yep. Yeah, looking rough, unfortunately.
okay. Yeah, looking really good for me here. I don't like I have so many options. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I have so many choices.
um,
They're all good for me.
I think it's this one.
Uh huh. Sure. At least if you want to kill the Tameo, you have to sack an actual piece of material here and not just like a token.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy to get rid of this Canonist though.
Yeah, like your mana is developed at this point, and like you probably would be interested in double spelling.
Yeah,
Uh,
like I'm definitely more interested in double spelling, and I'm interested in you not getting a clue.
yeah,
So I think this Canonist has served its purpose.
yeah, very fair.
I guess I'm supposed to wait
Unfortunate.
till after damage to do that, but whatever. There
Yeah.
are certain moments where you're winning, and it's like it basically doesn't matter what I'm doing. Oh, the Trailblazer.
So I had this one on the turn where you Egonjo'd me. So if
Oh,
I
so you could have ethereal armored and then played untapped steam vents for your guy for your
no, so
fabled
the problem
hero.
was I had to choose whether I what I was doing. I was either developing a second threat or I was playing ethereal armor because of
Oh, that's
Canonist.
right.
So
Oh my
Canonist was actually
god.
like sneakily
Wow.
very impactful. I also had the hammer hand plus the fabled hero in hand. So like I if Canonist isn't in play, I'm looking for like turn 4 fabled hero hammer hand it, make it a 5/5 hit you for 10. So
Yeah,
yeah, Canonist was actually
definitely.
really good here.
Yeah, I'm not. I guess I'm not that surprised because your deck is like meant to be so efficient that like playing a card that makes it so that we're at parity is probably going to be better for me on average.
Mhm.
It's just like man, the Canis was like really good,
Yeah, it's
like
just it's
overwhelmingly good.
more obviously good here because you can kind of point to like two exact plays. Oh my god, I'm
Yeah.
so dead. Wow, this Boros deck sure is good.
Wow. I'm actually just killing you with this Komodo.
Okay, yeah, I'll concede. I've seen enough.
Jesus.
Brutal. Well, I think even if Dog Umbra has the correct text, and even if I play the ethereal armor pre-combat, I don't know that this is still a game. I
It's
guess.
interesting that I would have been able to put you into a position where you're like dog umbering on blocks, which is like a really weird dynamic,
Well,
right?
no, I
Like,
would have just played it on the scavenger on your end step. I would have just put an Umbra armor on my scavenger.
yeah, I just mean like, are you attacking with it?
Yes. I don't think I can win a
Yeah,
game where I'm not attacking. I think I just have to try and
yeah,
put you under the abyss as
yeah.
fast as possible. Because I think if it works as intended, I think I would put it on scavenger attack. Maybe you block. I don't know. You probably block and try to Iganjo. Uh,
Oh yeah, because I get to block with the Ragavans, so I get to,
but
yeah.
that still doesn't work
No,
because
that
it
still doesn't
just
do it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's good for me. Like either you're chumping with Ragavan or whatever, and then I get to deploy the fabled hero, and like you still get to then you would get to play bombardiers, sack canonist, knock off the Umbra armor. Maybe I don't know. I just the game is very different
yeah,
in this
yeah. I
scenario
have to kill
where
this hero there probably, and then I'm taking 6, and yeah,
yeah. Anyway,
interesting.
this is why we test.
Yeah, I wish Dog Umber worked the way it's supposed to because I think the card is really interesting, like the
Yeah.
dynamics. But behind it are really fascinating.
Yeah.
Um, okay, now that I know the matchup,
I'm gonna
we'll
deafen.
see what this mulligan looks like.
All right, so I have to mulligan again. This is an unfortunate one to have to mulligan because getting like a core spirit dancer going, pretty easy way to run away with the game. But I definitely have to ship this one. Yeah, this is actually pretty good, I think. So this is turn 2 entity tracker on end step relevantly, and then I can hyena umbra it up, which is also pretty nice. I think I will choose to put this Mox Pearl in play on turn 1, just in case there's some kind of shenanigan with fast mana on Trent's side, and then we can play from there. I guess I also technically have Force of Negation pitching entity tracker, but that's not a play I want to make most of the time.
I'll let Liam deafen. So, I think I'm gonna keep this hand. I don't know. Unlicensed Hearse is basically a 0. The Canonist was good last game, but I'm gonna redeafen because Liam kept, or maybe mulliganed. I don't actually know. Oh, mulliganed. Okay. Um, it's really challenging. I think you need a piece of removal in this matchup, so I actually think I'm supposed to mulligan. Cathar Commando plus Etherstorm Canonist is like what's making me really feel like maybe I should keep this, but I think removal is probably the most important like aspect sorry, not aspect, the most important type of card in this matchup, so I think I'm gonna mulligan. Whew. Um I can't really keep this one. Containment Priest and Ophelia are both pretty bad. Get Lost is obviously fine, but I actually don't even love Get Lost in this matchup because the map tokens let Liam get heroic triggers for free. At least if heroic works how I remember. I mean, I'm on 5, so I have to keep this, and we're just gonna get rid of the Battlefield Forge and a plains because we only have, or sorry, windswept heath because we only have one red land to find. Okay.
Hello. Oh, am I still deafened? No, Trent's deafened. I see. Oh, I actually didn't choose which card. Okay, I think it's got to be this one. Technically, maybe I was supposed to put swords away because if I draw another blue card, I could have protected the entity tracker at least from being killed on Trent's turn. But I think this is fine. I think one of the ways that I potentially lose this match is by getting run over. So I think keeping the Swords to Plowshares is fine.
We draw well. This is
I have a
part of the
mock
power
start.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I was just saying like I had to mulligan to 5 because like I had sort of playable-ish hands, but like they had no removal, like
Yeah.
or any ways of really interacting with you. I
Yep.
think that's part of the strength of like this type of deck, like heroic, um, where because you're on a particular axis, you ask the question to the person like more than they ask you a question, right?
Yeah. I think there's definitely some value in being like hyperlinear for sure. Um, and like I was saying in my deck tech, like I think that I would prefer on average to be playing against fair decks than unfair decks with this deck because like my ability to interact is not very good. Like against the combo decks, it's not great. But I do think you get to cover up some of those issues by saying, yeah, okay, you get to goldfish this game more or less. But like your goldfish better be what you think it is. Like you better kill me on turn 3 or 4 because like I'm gonna kill
Yeah,
you.
'cause I'm for sure killing you on
And
turn
I'm
4
more
or
consistent.
whatever.
Like I'm definitely killing you on turn 5 every game. So you better
Yeah.
do exactly what your deck is capable of doing, or else. Oh, this is interesting. So like you mulligan to 5. I have to assume that you bend a land, which makes me think your hand has at least 3. And you did keep your hand, which also makes me think that your hand has like at least some kind of removal. I don't know. I'm gonna play this Giver of Ruins.
That's a good one.
It is, yeah.
You love the giver. That I think getting another mom effect also is really huge in this deck.
It's
Like being
definitely
able to
good.
front load your protection spells is like pretty powerful.
Hmm. Okay. Thalia, I can beat. Although I do think that's like secretly one of the better hate bears in the format.
First strike is pretty big in this matchup if you don't like if you have a more creature heavy draw or whatever. The
I've
entity
got
tracker is pretty sick.
yeah. So like I thought about playing that one on end step last turn, and I
Yeah,
just
but if you get plowed or whatever, you're kind of crying.
yeah, it's like just so bad if I get exact like it's basically exactly Swords to Plowshares that blows me out. Well,
Or Path to
or
Exile,
Path.
yeah,
It was just awkward because like I
yeah.
actually had to give her that turn too, but I was like, well, I would rather just hold up Entity Tracker because you're unlikely to be playing around Flash Creature. So like if you have a 2-drop, you're probably gonna play it. I think it just worked
Yeah.
out such that your hand had 3-drop, not 2-drop, and I bet my guess is your hand probably does have Plow if I'm guessing or something like that because like you wouldn't have kept your hand if it didn't do things. Ooh, okay, yeah, it's a nice one. I guess this is probably
Yeah,
getting
I don't actually know what I can get though.
Guide
Let's
Pride,
see.
probably, right? You're
Yeah,
just
I mean, it
moderning
literally
me.
is. There's only 5 1-drops, so I'm getting Guide Pride, and I'm
Yeah,
just gonna play modern.
yeah, yeah. I think
uh,
that's the why the card's in the deck.
I should have played this post combat. I think I am still gonna attack. I think if you kill my Thalia, I'm pretty fine with that.
Yeah.
Like if you like jump through hoops to kill the Thalia,
I
don't
don't think that
that
that's
much.
necessarily what you're worried about, yeah.
Nothing from you. Interesting. Land heavy?
Yeah. I'm my mana situation is not what you'd love to see out of the deck that surveilled a land into the graveyard and only has 33.
Yeah.
Having six and I when I say 33 I mean 33 mana sources. I'm counting the
Yeah,
moxes.
counting monsters. Yeah. The it's one of the tough things about being linear is like you aren't as flexible when it comes to this type of stuff, right? Like it's the worst because like you draw lands and you're like, okay, there's no way I'm ever getting rid of these for
Yeah.
value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whereas if you're playing like Jeskai or whatever, like your deck actually has like brain surges and brainstorm and stuff like or like ways to actually use the
I think that's the big thing is
uh
that it's mostly just like you can just eventually use the mana. Like,
okay. Well,
yep, guide.
good enough for modern, good enough for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really good. Guide
It's
Bombardiers.
really good.
It's okay. I have that one covered actually.
You got the Bombi covered?
Maybe we'll see. We'll see what you do with it.
Uh, I guess I can just play this Pride post combat.
All right, you're getting in there. Can't make anything fly.
I
All right,
think what I'm dealing 8 to you.
you are, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not actually winning quite yet, but close.
Um, I've just realized that this doesn't actually work quite as well as I want it to, so I guess I am just gonna fire this off now. I was thinking that you were gonna have to at least sack a real creature to try and get some value from Bombardiers, but you can actually even just play Pride, get the token on end step, and then do it in
That
end
was my
step.
plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Now it's interesting though because I have to decide if I want this 6 damage with Thalia or not.
mhm.
Because I can huck for 6, which puts you down to you take 9 total because you haven't taken the damage from Ranger yet.
Yeah,
So it puts you to 4, and then I play Pride, but with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I actually need this extra permanent for Pride, I think,
oh,
because
because
I'll
you
have
want to start
4.
copying tokens quickly.
Yeah, because I'll have 4, and then when Pride makes the 10th token, it'll make the 11th token because of the Ascend.
Hmm.
So yeah, you're actually just getting away with this Swords to Plowshares scot-free. Look at that.
Huge.
Huge.
Hmm.
See, the thing is like, I'm in a commanding position, but all it takes is like 1 lifelink enchantment from you, and it's... Or
Yeah,
even just unenchantment, but might be my undoing here.
the entity tracker definitely means that I get a lot of looks if I get going. Okay, so yes, you have 2 cats gaining
You
infinite
have a lot of
life.
life, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I am like chilling for a bit, but like I don't know if you play a like a Daybreak Coronet or something here, like I don't actually know how I'm supposed to beat that
Yeah.
realistically.
I think the question for me is how many turns do I have to find it? Like, am I dying? Like, am I not functionally dying or not literally dying, but am I like functionally dying next turn if I let you get another turn of
Oh sure, like
Ocelot
if I get to
priding?
hit you, then there's nothing you can do the following turn.
Well, you just have
So
to
you're like
play a
functionally,
creature because
yeah.
you have because Guide is a balance card. Yeah, and so like with that in mind, I think I'm just gonna play. So I had this Lorenz Escape as well, and I was thinking that I could potentially blow out a Bombardier's Sack, right? Like where I could
Oh,
potentially.
but you really need this scry. Like the
No,
thing
like
is,
I just realized that you were just gonna get to sack cat token, so like I wasn't actually going to be up any
oh,
material.
like an
Like you were
actual
just gonna
real
sack a
material.
token.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I like
Okay.
scrying on end step here. I think that's really good.
Yeah. I mean, we're playing. We're still playing.
Oh, you've got a weird line here where like if you don't draw anything, you can give
Pro
your
white, my
entity
own
tracker
creature.
pro white so that you
Yep.
can recast your
Yep.
Sentinel's Eyes on your
I'm
Giver of Runes.
glad you saw the line too.
Holy, that's
Uh,
sick.
that's where we're at. Also, now
Oh
this
wow.
does turn off some number of outs, unfortunately, but I mean, I think realistically, this is the way that I'm
You kind
gonna.
of just have to try and cook here, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Unfortunately.
was thinking like it's kind of interesting that if I go to plow your tracker, you
Yeah.
lose some of your enchantments.
Would you believe me if I told you I drew land?
I would.
Yeah.
I would believe you.
Pretty rough. I mean, this is an unfortunate showing, I think, because like the first game, a bit of a dog umbro diff, and then this game, I mean, you are just gonna flood like, I guess some amount of the
I
time.
mean,
But I
like
did draw in what like my top
this matchup's
16.
pretty fast. Do you just want to jam another one?
I'd like to play against a different deck. I think let's try and get a wide
Sure.
range.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, here for match two. So last time we played Boros Taxes, I'm still going to use a random number generator from 1 to... I think I used 1 to 8 last time, which meant that I was obfuscating Time Vault, but that's fine. I'll still use 1 to 8 this time, except Boros Taxes won't be in the mix. So 1 to 4 will be the same as it is currently, and then 5 to 8 will be Naughty, Lotus Breach, Scape Shift, and Time Vault. So let's grab this random number generator here, and okay, so I'm going to hit generate, and then that'll be the deck we're going to play. 3. So I'm going to play Flash Hulk. Okay, so I will grab that list, and we'll be right back. And for the second roll, I rolled Flash Hulk, so this is a Protean Hulk combo deck. You leverage the card Flash, which is right here, to put Protean Hulk into play. You can't pay for it, so then you get the gets put into a graveyard trigger. Protean Hulk gets Cauldron Familiar, Samwise Gamgee, Viscera, and then you get a Sylvan Safekeeper to keep your creatures safe. And the combo works basically where you sacrifice Cauldron Familiar, and then you bring it back with one of the food tokens that you've created from Samwise, draining your opponent for 1, creating another food token, which means you can then sacrifice the Cauldron Familiar, and with that new food token that was created, bring it back. The rest of the deck is basically just tutors and cantrips, and then some pieces of interaction, mostly ways to get around counter spells like Thoughtseize, Inquisition, as well as Silence and Orm's Chant. But yeah, pretty straightforward combo deck. Just playing tutors, combo pieces, and ways to find tutors and combo pieces.
Okay, so for this one, we're going to try close comms the whole time, and let us know whether you prefer this approach. We usually, oh, whoops, you can see me. I'm watching the PT coverage on the other screen in between games. We usually do open comms the whole time, but for this game, we're going to try close comms, and I think where it's a new brew, that might be a bit more interesting. So yeah, let us know. Okay, so I'm in the dark, and even in the dark, this is a great keep. So Illuminator Virtuoso is like a super premium threat. If Trent is playing some kind of deck that is linear but not interactive, like one of the combo decks, Illuminator is one of the things you want to see more than anything else. And if Trent is playing a combo deck, or sorry, an interactive deck, True Name Nemesis is going to be pretty potent, and getting it suited up is going to be, I think, a good path for me forward. And the nice thing is that Sentinel's Eyes having Escape means that you can kind of jam this one with relative impunity. You don't have to worry about, like what happens if they kill my creature in response. So yeah, pretty excited about this hand. Looks pretty good. I'm going to lead on Arid Mesa, find Meticulous Archive, and then go from there. One thing that we talked about in game one, and I'll talk about it now that it's just me, is I do think this deck probably does want a second Surveil land. And part of the reason is, let's imagine this Arid Mesa is just a non-fetch land. My red and white exclusive fetches, so basically anything that doesn't, my red exclusive fetches, so Bloodstained Mire and Wooded Foothills, and there's one more, right? Wooded Foothills, Bloodstained Mire. No, that's it. The other two work. But anyway, these two fetches don't actually find a Surveil land in my deck currently, because I only have the blue-white Surveil land, and that, I think, is actually a bit of a tension, and it's a tension I felt. It's just that having the extra tapped land, I don't know. I am apprehensive about the potential implications, but okay, green Sylvan Tutor. Okay, so this is Flash. You can tell pretty quickly. So this is gonna go get Hulk and put it on top of his deck. Yep. Okay, well, Illuminator is definitely the card we want for this matchup because it's fast. And now I think that we're basically looking for other things that allow us to put on the gas pedal with this Illuminator. So like Ethereal Armor, Arcane Flight, that's fine. That's something that's going to increase the clock with Illuminator. It's going to trigger the Connive, and it'll give flying too, which is not the most important thing, but it's not nothing. Okay, so I have Illuminator. I can just die. Like, the reality is, Trent has basically no obligation to provide any respect to me at all, and it's not worth it for me to to be looking for my like 3 counter spells that are in the deck. That's not the access that I'm going to win the game on. Okay, so Trent, interestingly, didn't go for anything. I'm actually going to lead on Arcane Flight here. And the reason is if I don't draw, okay, Escape Velocity, that's another escape card. That's kind of good. So here's the thing. I kind of want to hold up Cradle of Safety now, and then maybe next turn we can go for, so yeah, so I'm going to discard Sentinel's Eyes because we can just escape it. And now I have Cradle of Safety in case Trent goes for a removal spell here, because Swords is an option that he has access to. If I die on turn 3, I die on turn 3. There was no sequence of draws here that gets me up to 10 power anyway, but this lets me keep my threat safer, and I am threatening lethal next turn because assuming Trent has nothing, which, bit of an assumption, but assuming his interaction is not, I guess, exactly killing me with Flash, I have the ability to go play Escape Velocity, discard True Name Nemesis, okay, End Step Brainstorm. So yeah, this is an acknowledgement from Trenton that this is an emergency brainstorm, as we call it in the business. He's definitely looking for a way to win the game this turn. Kind of hard for Flash Hulk to do it, especially because he doesn't have a black mana here, so he can't. I don't think he's even on Vamp anymore, actually, so he can't find Flash on end step here with something like Mystical. Island Cycling. Okay, so he is cycling away and shuffling the Brainstorm. But yeah, so next turn I can go escape Sentinel's Eyes. That's going to put Illuminator Virtuoso up to a 5, and then I can go Escape Velocity, and assuming I draw a non-creature spell, okay, yeah, Seeker for Flash. Yep, so almost enough. He's killing me on turn 4, but I was on the play, and I'm killing him on turn 4. And like we talked about earlier in the video, that's one of the things you get to do as these kind of really linear, uninteractive decks is, yes, I don't have interaction, but Trenton was obligated to actually goldfish turn 3, and if he didn't do it, he was gonna die. Now he might have Force of Will. That's a card he could have access to, but I think I can just brute force my way through a Force of Will actually. And like Solitude is not a card they play. Pact of Slaughter Pact is not a card they play anymore. I don't believe there's a free way to kill this creature in the Flash Hulk deck. There might be free counter spells, but I'm also able to get around Force of Negation as one of the outs by casting this now. Trent's deep in the tank, which makes me think that Force may well be something that is gonna happen here. Okay, so the Connive is gonna trigger. Let's get rid of the True Name Nemesis. It just isn't gonna matter. I don't think the Swords to Plowshares matters either, but you never know. Okay, so play land, and we'll just go for the one that he knows about. So target Illuminator Virtuoso, escape this Sentinel's Eyes, connive again. Best draw here is Force of Negation probably, but I think he's just dead. I don't know what he can have. Yeah, so here's the Force of Will. Oh, pitching Daze. Interesting. So he could have dazed the Cradle of Protection, but maybe that's the only non-flash blue card. That's all I can think of. Okay, so yeah, Griff Spoon is just yet another lethal card, but there's 7 ways to roam here. They all paths definitely lead to roam. We'll cast this Escape Velocity. This is another trigger. Yep. Hello.
I should have force willed the Illuminator Virtuoso.
Yes.
God damn it.
Yes, you should have.
So I was thinking to myself, like, well, I have him dead on turn 4 with a Force of Will.
Mhm.
Like, so I was like, oh, I should be fine. So I let it resolve because I wanted at the time I didn't have any like other ways to protect my combo.
Okay.
And so like if you're playing Spell Pierce or whatever, like I can't beat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll let the Illuminator resolve because a lot of the time that's kind of what you do with Flash Hall because you just leverage your life total as a resource. But I forgot that Illuminator Virtuoso is the most broken creature in the deck.
Yeah, it's like it leads to the most turn 4 kills in the deck by far. Yeah, like especially second turn of Illuminator sitting in play. I think my hand there had the capacity to 25 you. Like you could have gone back to your starting life total and still died.
Yeah, I the Sentinel's Eyes was pretty clutch there too because it meant like no matter what you had in hand, I lost because
Yes.
that Force Will, and then even if you discard a land to your Connive trigger, you just get to cast Sentinel's Eyes again.
Yeah.
That card's really impressive.
So like when I've been playing the deck in Pioneer, I started with 2 in the deck, and it's now a 4 of, even though it's like quote unquote kind of low power level. But like Escape 2 is just like so impactful when you have these creatures that, especially the creatures that draw cards when you
like
cast auras or
creature, the 2/3,
or like Storm Chaser Drake really likes it. Like there's a bunch. So yeah, I've been really impressed. Okay.
Yeah, killing me turn 4 through a Force of Will. I should have Force of Willed the threat. I was just like, oh, I'm fine. I'm winning. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
The hubris of the combo player.
Did you have Force Days? Like, what would you have had to pitch to Force of Will to?
I would have had to pitch Days. So I would have like Force of Will pitching.
Oh, okay.
Days
But it wouldn't have
to
impacted your ability to combo. Like you had the whole combo even before the brainstorm?
Yes, yeah.
Wow. Okay, your hand was juiced.
I
Jeez.
mulliganed to like triple tutor hand, and then I drew Force of Will and had
holy.
Days already in my hand. It was a really good draw. I mean like part of playing like a more like tier 1.5 tier 2 deck is like people aren't as practiced against it. like now I'm always going to force a will the Illuminator
Yeah,
Virtuoso, but
you've learned.
like you do get equity there. Like it's not nothing.
Yeah,
Like it's possible a lot of people in my circumstance wouldn't have force of willed as well.
yeah, 100%.
Um, and I mean the Virtuoso just overperforms every time. So
I mean, I think it performs exactly how I expect it to perform every
well, yeah,
time.
I guess
Card is so good.
All
I'm
right.
yeah, I am Virtuoso's biggest strongest believer. All right, cool. Game 2. Okay, yeah, so good first showing for the deck in this matchup. Ooh, okay. So Force of Negation is not as premium against Flash Hulk as you would hope, because good Flash Hulk players, and Trent is a good Flash Hulk player, unfortunately, will play in a way to turn it off as much as possible. But I can probably point it at a tutor at some point, and that's what I will do. I think I'll pretty aggressively just fire this off to interact with some kind of tutor. Like if Trent goes for turn 1 Sylvan Tutor again, I will just be firing off this Force of Negation. The other question is how I sequence my lands, because I would love to surveil, and again, this is a spot where having a second surveil land in my deck would be nice, because in a perfect world here, I would get like white-red surveil land into Seachrome Coast, play Hero of Eros, but I don't have a red-white surveil land, so I have to choose between turning off the Cleon as a playable card for now or surveilling. And I think because I have another really premium 3-drop, I'm just going to be fine with not having red mana for the first little bit.
So this hand's interesting. Because I know Liam's playing playing heroic, then it's possible that this hand is okay, but heroic, I think if this tutor was any other tutor I might be interested. But heroic really does like hold up mana a lot of the time to protect their creatures, and so I don't actually know if Rhystic Tutor is something that really gets through, so I'm gonna mulligan here. Well, I can't keep this hand. This hand is just not keepable. Okay, this hand is keepable on 5. I have to keep the Chrommox, I think, which means I'm going to like sort of effective 4. But I have a kill through no interaction. So let's keep this, get rid of Snapcaster and Brainstorm. And then I'm going to cast Chrommox.
Imp Seal, yeah. So as discussed, I'm just gonna fire this off, and we'll pitch this fall from favor because there's very few things that matter. There's some argument to be made about like countering the thing that Trent Imp Seal's for, but I think given my spot and my role in this matchup, I'm just pretty fine with him having one card in hand. He surveilled one, put Force into his graveyard. Yeah, so like I'm in pretty good shape here. Okay. Same. We still think we don't want to surveil. We want to surveil. Yeah, I think so. I think it's just going to be a turn 1 surveil from me. It's a little slow potentially. Actually, maybe I do want to get the red mana now. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to have Hero, and then I don't really want the red enchantments to be turned off. So, because I do really want to clock as fast as possible. And I'm going to have Aqueous Form, Scry to kind of like filter. Like in a perfect world, what am I drawing next turn? It's just land, right? So like I'm already like reasonably likely to draw a land. So I think I will just find Sacred Foundry. Again, if this could be Elegant Parlor, I would be much happier, but it is what it is. Ooh. Okay, I guess I have to do some math now about what's a faster clock. So I think, but I do actually no, I don't have to do that much math. Hero is definitely gonna be better here, and I can play Ross Snarked or whatever this card is. I can play that next turn if I don't draw anything else. If I draw a land, I'm probably putting Cleon into play. Wow, Trent is running just so hot. Can we talk about the fact that he was on 0 cards 2 turns ago, and his draws were Surveil, Force of Will into the graveyard, draw Profane Tutor, suspend Profane Tutor, draw your Senpath, find Hulk. Well, that's rough. It's hard for me. The reality is you are gonna just lose to the Hulk deck sometimes, and sometimes they do this to you, and it's a little tilting for sure. Land. Yeah, I mean, I'm dead, right? Trent's gonna untap, surveil, or yeah, find Hulk and kill me. I mean, I'll put it on top. Like, technically, it's probably correct to do, but I genuinely don't think it matters. We'll play this one, play the old Rocksnark, and yeah, this is rough. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? I did everything I'm supposed to do. I think let's think about it briefly here. What could I have done differently that would have potentially made my situation better? Like, because the Force of Negation isn't a reliable way to stop Flash, I think I did have to counter the Tutor. There's some argument for forcing the Chrome Mox instead, but if I force the Chrome Mox, he just still has Pillage the Bog in hand, and like maybe he finds that eventually. I think the reality is that I just like got pretty unlucky here for my opponent to go on 3 lands from no cards in hand, draw Tutor, Tutor, and have them be the right kind of tutors both ways, right? Like Profane Tutor looking unbelievable here. And I imagine that, you know, Trent's just gonna jam. I don't know why he wouldn't. He even knows that the Force of Negation is gone, so he can jam it main phase. I guess I'll put this on the stack, but as soon as he shows me which creatures are in that the creatures are in fact in the deck, I'm gonna concede. Yeah, I mean, getting turned forward this way feels pretty bad. I mean, Chrome Mox looking good here. This was in part enabled by Chrome Mox. Yeah, all right. I will concede the game. He's on Sylvan Safekeeper, not the one that silences, not Voice of Victory.
There we go.
Hello.
What a 5-card hand, huh?
Well,
I just
I mean,
ripped it off the top.
Yeah, by 5-card hand, do you mean the top of your deck? That was unbelievable.
I mulliganed 2 stinkers, and I was like, well, I guess I'm keeping this hand, and I'm just praying. Like,
yeah.
Which sometimes you gotta do, I guess.
Yeah, like I forced the Imp Seal, and I was like, all right, well, we're probably winning this one.
Feeling pretty good.
And then, yeah, just like, you suspend Profane Tutor, and I was like, okay, well, you know, that's annoying, but it is what it is. I mean, he's still got to find a way to find Flash or Hulk, and like,
and he only has 2 lands in play.
Has 2 lands.
I suspended Profane Tutor, but
still, yeah, you had 3 lands in play, and it was like, all right, well, you know, he's bound to draw like some kind of brick or something, and like I got a clock going, and
yeah, like if I draw like Into the Flood Maw or whatever, or like Flusterstorm, or even
like you can draw things that buy you more turns for sure. Like it's not like I'm like definitely winning 100%. But
you're way happier with that than just raw Fierce Empath for yeah.
Yeah, it just.
I started laughing when I drew it. I thought you might be popping off in the chat.
I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, you put those cards in your deck for a reason. I was thinking about it. I think the Force of Negation was right. Like, if it was Force of Will, I would have waited. But because it's possible for the Flash combo to just be played around Force of Negation.
Yeah, I really like Force of Negationing there. I think you have to.
The only other thing I thought about maybe doing was forcing the Chrome Mox. I pretty quickly decided not to because I just was pretty happy to have you 2-for-1 yourself, I thought. But it's possible that would have been better as well. Because at the time it was your only black source, but like I can't know that. But
I like waiting on forcing and waiting to force like a card, because yeah, the 2-for-1 from the Chrome Mox is really relevant because I'm on 5.
Yeah.
And like realistically there, I had to have, because it's possible I kept a hand that like doesn't have a 2-mana tutor, it has a 3-mana tutor.
Yeah.
So if I like play Imp Seal and you force a negation it, I play land pass, like that's so big for you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You kind of had to have everything wrong happen. Like I had to have 2-mana tutor and then draw land for the turn that I'm casting the 2-mana tutor.
Yep.
Then also draw 3-mana tutor. Like Yeah,
Yeah.
I like holding force
I
negation here.
think,
Although,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think I played the game properly. I think that, sometimes that just happens, right? Like Flash Hulk is a very good deck for a reason.
Yeah, I am a big proponent of forcing people's Moxen in a lot of circumstances, but I think there, especially since it's a Chrome Mox, like I think if it was a regular Mox in
Yeah, I would
regular
have thought about
matchup,
it.
I would
Yeah,
force some negation, but like yeah,
yeah,
I think you're fine. Okay, good luck in game
yeah.
three.
Game three, no doubt one of us will be incredibly lucky again. Cool. Good luck. Yeah, that's just gonna happen some amount of the time. I, I, I've been on both sides of that Flash Hulk experience. When I was playing Flash Hulk, in like 2014 or 2015, I had a game where my Esper Control opponent cast Thoughtseize on turn one on the play and took not either of the pieces, took a tutor. And then on my turn one for turn, I drew Flash. And then on my turn two, I drew Hulk. And my opponent, on the end of my second turn, tried to play a Vendilion Click, and I hulked them in response. um, okay, so the dialogue here is, I think, about whether or not you are allowed to have your threat be Mother of Runes. And I think you're not thrilled to have your threat be Mother of Runes, but I can just go turn one Mom, plot Demonic Ruckus, or even I could just go turn one plot Demonic Ruckus and Surveil. The Feather of Flight is also decent. This Benevolent Blessing is not really for this matchup, unfortunately. It's just a protection spell, which isn't really what you're looking for. I kind of think you need a faster clock, but at the same time, I'm on the play. So like, can I really turn down a Mox draw? Like I have so many good draws from here. I think I'm gonna keep this. Let me know in the comments if you would mulligan this one. I think this one, and I could definitely see going either way. There's 27 creatures in the deck for reference. So you're like, what are your odds of drawing a creature on turn two? Like around 25% to draw a creature on turn two. Um,
Can't really keep hands like this. Tutor's too slow. Ponder's like not a hand fixer. Cauldron Familiar in your hand is like F tier. I'm definitely mulliganing this. You mulligan a lot with Flash Hulk. That is the one tough thing about it is like you're generally speaking mulliganing pretty heavily. Okay, so let's see. Did Liam keep or mulligan? Okay, Liam kept. I have to mulligan. Imp Seal Call is 2 tutors. We get to put Viserys here on the bottom. Have a Duress. This is kind of how you draw it up, honestly.
and yeah, maybe with that in mind, maybe I am supposed to surveil instead of playing Mom, because like, how much does having the Mother of Runes matter? If I find a higher impact creature, I probably want to have the higher impact creature in play. All right, I've talked myself into the surveil line, and if I miss, then I'm minus a bit of damage with Mom. But I mean, it is what it is. I think at the end of the day. Actually, as soon as I've made this play, I'm seeing the reasons not to do it. The other issue now is I'm pretty constrained on white mana, and I have 3 white spells in my hand, and I only have 1 white source. So even if I do surveil a creature to the top, it like almost has to be a 3-drop for this to feel especially good. We'll see. We'll see. And it has to not be a double white 3-drop, which there are a couple of. All right, Trent's really tanking here on his turn 1. Never a good sign when the combo player's first turn is like tank, 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 tank. Think about how they're going to kill you. Think about how they're going to kill you, and then maybe kill you. Okay, so here's Arid Mesa for Scrubland. Oh, it might be a hand attack spell. Oh, it's Imp Seal. Okay. Okay, so it was think about what we're Imp Sealing for. Yeah, no counter spell this time. All right, so sacrifice this Scalding Tarn, get Meticulous Archive, Fall from Favor, is going straight to the graveyard, and Hammer Hand. All right, well, we're getting in there with the Mother of Runes, I guess. Let's get the Demonic Ruckus on here. Let's Hammer Hand her up and start attacking, because I really do think that this is the path to victory, unfortunately. Maybe this hand was a mulligan for that reason. I don't know. I have some good draws, so like the if I could draw an ethereal armor effect, obviously it's very good. And because Trent is really low on removal spells, like it's possible that this, like it's less like required for this Mother of Runes to be held back defensively. All right, here's a fetch. They do have removal spells, though. The Flash Hulk deck does. Like, they're not on actual 0, so you do have to have some amount of respect. Okay, well, the Duress is going to take the Feather of Flight, I have to imagine. I guess there's a outside chance it takes Benevolent Blessing if Trent has a removal spell that he can't cast this turn, but can cast later. Yep, makes sense. And we have Fatal Push as well. Yeah, oh, sorry. I mean, I do basically want to concede the game, but I guess I won't just yet. I wonder what he imp sealed for. That's an interesting question. Ugh, the third basic red source is not what we wanted to see here. Yeah, unfortunate. It's possible I'm supposed to mulligan, but I just don't think that you can mulligan. Like, the fast mana is definitely something you're interested in these matchups that are fast, and I don't know. I think that if I played the Mom on turn 1, would it have been better? Like, not especially. Well, I'm gonna just run this out. If he has another removal spell, he has another removal spell. But I'm so constrained on white mana that I need to just play it. If it dies, it dies. Looks like it's getting swords or something. Oh, Eladamri's Call. Okay, well, unless this Imp Seal went to go get a removal spell, I got to imagine this is just lights out for me, and I'm getting flashed on this turn because he did cast Seal on turn 1. It's a really strong hand out of him if his hand was Duress, Fatal Push, Imp Seal, Call, lands. Like, that isn't a thing that I can beat. Yeah. Man, you had 3 really strong hands. Oh, I think he's still
Yeah, I mean, I just drew insanely well. Like,
yeah,
such is life.
Pretty tough. I was thinking maybe the Imp Seal went and got Fatal Push or something, but I guess if you had gotten a removal spell, you would have gotten swords. Yeah. I mean, look, the reality is I kind of knew that this was a possibility, that like you're just gonna get run over by the fast combo deck. I don't think I was anticipating losing game 2 the way that I lost, but like, that game there was sort of like the reality is like that is just how it's going to go some amount of the time. I think maybe I was supposed to mulligan. The 7-card hand was Mox, Shivan Reef, Fetch Land, Mother of Runes, Demonic Ruckus, Feather of Flight, and the protection spell. What's the protection spell called? You know the one I'm talking about.
The one that
yeah.
Don't fall off.
Yes. Benevolent Blessing. Pauper All-Star Benevolent Blessing. Yeah. So like maybe that's a mulligan, or maybe I'm supposed to just play Mother of Runes on turn 1 and plot Demonic Ruckus. I just decided that my hand was so much better if I drew a creature on turn 2 that I could Ruckus up, because then I'm like probably killing you on turn 4. Whereas if I play the Mother of Runes, like I'm just like, I'm not interactive, right? So like but I think the reality is I think I'm supposed to just mulligan that hand. I think that's I think that's one of those ones where you kind of get baited by like having a Mox, but the Mox didn't really do anything.
Yeah, I think it's like this matchup is basically just Goldfish Central. Like, we have some interactive spells, but it's funny because even I don't have that many ways of interacting with you. I have like Swords and Fatal Push basically, and I think I'm playing Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, and then 7 or 8 counters or something.
Like that anyways, and also I'm set up to beat, 1 Force of Will or 1 Force of Negation. So in all reality, like those cards are obviously still good, but like I I think like from both sides, we're kind of just supposed to keep hands that like go as fast as possible, right?
Yeah, it's kind of
Even though we're
funny.
not necessarily both combo decks, right? Like
It's funny because like the speed of the matchup kind of changes the rules on how well we are at dealing with typical interaction too, because you kind of have to assume the game ends on turn 4 one way or the other. Like you don't necessarily have the luxury of keeping hands that are insulated against
totally.
interaction. Like in game 2, like you mulligan to 5, but like you did just have to like mulligan to a hand that just went as fast as possible with no protection because you couldn't afford to wait to have protection. And
Definitely.
probably in that third game, I'm supposed to mulligan because that hand didn't actually go all that fast, and I think speed is the only thing that really matters. And I got kind of enchanted with having the Mox Ruby in hand, and as a result,
The,
kind of
the
baited
the
myself.
the stars in your eyes when you
Yeah.
saw Mox draw finally after 1,000 years. I Yeah, I think this matchup, to me, like, because it's a goldfish type matchup, I actually think it's probably closer to pretty even. Like, it's probably a little in favor of Flash Hulk would be my guess, but I don't think it's that much. I think it's probably closer to 50-50 because like that heroic deck is so
One sec.
fast. Like you have some draw.
Yeah. Oh, I'll come up and clean it up. I'm talking to Trent. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Amanda says
That's all
hello.
good. Hello, Amanda. But yeah, like uh the heroic deck has some draws that are just like so unbelievably fast, and what's Flash Hulk really gonna do about it, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. You don't really have a whole lot of options sometimes. I did see it. It's like he has like 50 people. I know. Sorry.
uh, but yeah, I really liked those games. I thought they were pretty interesting. I'm really surprised that I won the second game. Statistically, you're also winning that game too, so you know
Yeah,
there's some Johns to be had there.
I think it was like a decent chart for the deck. Like I'm definitely gonna keep working on this, iterate a little bit, and then like go from there. Like I don't think that the conclusion from testing against two meta decks is like, well, this is unplayable. It's like,
No, red also seems like a great inclusion, by the way. Like, I think my natural inclination would be to just stick to blue-white when if I was to start building it from scratch. But the red looks really good to me.
I think the
Like, I
reality
really
is
like a
like
lot of the red cards.
I think the reality is there's just not a whole lot of reason to stay two colors anymore. And like I'm not playing any of the reasons that do exist. Like I'm not back to basic saying like my mana isn't that much better if I'm only two colors. So like I do think you are just like supposed to play the third color mostly. It's like pretty free. The other thing I thought about doing is playing green because there are some like decent green heroic creatures, and then like you also get access to um another curiosity or two curiosities actually, which is pretty nice. Like and Rancor
Also,
is a
like,
card. Like
yeah, I
you're
was gonna say
basically
Rancor and Audacity are pretty big, like getting
yeah.
your
And then
creatures
you also
trample.
get like there's some more enchantment matter stuff in green as well. And like you can play the oh man, I forget what the card's called from Murders at Karlov Manor, the green blue X counterspell that like puts counters on one of your
Oh,
creatures and counters.
it's like repulsive mutation or
Yeah,
something,
exactly.
right?
So like you can like trigger
Yeah,
heroic
repulsive mutation.
while
Yeah.
casting a counterspell at the same time, which is like
Yeah,
kind of
wow,
huge. Like
that
those feel like things that might be kind of worth exploring. So maybe I'll try and iterate as well with like green instead of red or something like that. Just see what that looks like.
red just gives you a couple of like bangers and like really solid heroic creatures, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like lightning seems really good.
yeah. I
It
haven't gotten to put it in play
we
yet, but I really hope I do soon.
well, we did. You did in one of our games,
Oh yeah, the
right?
first time you and I played, I put it in play. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
haven't had
yeah.
it to
But
do that much yet, but I do think it's pretty sweet. Yeah.
and the I really like the enchantment that you suspended on turn one in that last game.
Yeah, demonic
Demonic
ruckus.
Ruckus.
Yeah.
I've been a really big fan of that. Menace is just like so good.
It's like pretty close to unblockable a lot of the time,
Especially
especially
with
when
your
your
deck,
creature is
like how
big.
do
Yeah.
people how do people block? Like
Yeah.
even if they have quote unquote good blocks, like how do they block?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. For
so
sure.
yeah. Uh
All right. Well, thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoy this format. Let us know whether you prefer us talking the whole time or if you prefer just us talking in between games. And yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. We really appreciate all the support. And without further ado, we will see you next time.